There are so many incredible things to see and do in Australia. But what is there to eat? If you've been part of this channel for long, you know my husband Ivan and I are major foodies. But this is probably the first time we've ever planned a trip where the food isn't one of the top things on our list. We really didn't know much at all about what foods are uniquely Australian. For the past 2 weeks, we've been exploring this beautiful country along with my parents, from city life to glamping and Maggie, which is one of my new favorite places in the world, by the way. And we have found some delicious and unique foods along the way. So let's take a bite of the food of Australia. Starting with brekkie. If you look for Australian food just about anywhere in the world, you're likely gonna find a cafe. Australia is literally where avocado toast was invented. And a big part of what makes Australian cafes so special is that they're using quality ingredients. You're getting that farm-to-table kind of experience, and it really makes a big difference in the taste. Along with brekkie, which means breakfast by the way, for those of you that don't speak Australian, the coffee culture in this country is out of this world. At home in America, you're lucky to find anything other than bad drip coffee if you're not at an actual coffee shop. But here, the local drink to order is a flat white, which is somewhere between a cappuccino and a latte, and you can get a delicious one literally anywhere. On a ship in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef? No problem. Random ice cream shop in the middle of a rainforest? Yeah, no worries. Anywhere. Another breakfast food that is probably Australia's most internationally famous, or maybe infamous, is Vegemite on toast. Good day, mates. We're here in Australia trying our first Vegemite.
All right, here we go.
It's quite salty.
Almost like eating a bouillon cube.
It's like a soy saucy bouillon cube. Yeah.
Like just like a bouillon cube, it tastes like it should have been diluted.
Yes.
And then it might be better.
Bitter, yeasty.
But it's high in vitamin B.
What's good for us?
It's good for us. It encourages me to eat my vegetables instead.
Vegemite? I don't know about you.
Vegemite not.
Right on.
It was really cool when we were at the brewery. We found out that they use the leftover yeast from the brewing process of the beer to make Vegemite. They send it to the Vegemite factory, so it is cool. We tried the beer, and then today we're trying what they made with the beer scraps.
Waste not, want not. I don't know that I want it though.
I want not.
This can stay down under. It's not terrible. And there's probably other recipes other than just on toast.
Down the hatch.
After Vegemite, the most famous Australian dish worldwide has gotta be meat pies. We actually have family members who lived in Australia who told us they gained weight here because they loved meat pies so much and ate so many. So we definitely have high hopes for this one. We're here at Bourke Street Bakery. We have gotten 3 meat pies. Meat pies are like the national dish of Australia. This is the peak of Australian cuisine. We absolutely love savory pies, so we have been so stoked to give this a try for so long, and we're finally here. So we had to get a variety of these 3 different ones. This one's like a cheesy, beefy bacon one with potatoes on top. This one is more your classic beef pie, and this one is the one that Bourke Street Bakery is like the most known for. They have literally won awards, considered one of the best pies in the entire country. This is the beef brisket with mushrooms and red wine. I knew from the fact that this pie has won awards that this is one of the best places to go. But when you're coming up, there's you see this huge line from a distance and you're like, I think that's gotta be it. And sure enough, it is. There's so many people here. It is by far the most happening place we've seen this early in the morning. And we have a beautiful, kind of in the distance, but we're right here on the harbor. So we have this beautiful Darling Harbor here behind us. I don't know if you have to eat it with a fork or if I can. I get why this is a national dish. This is incredible. Look at this. This is just a classic beef pie. They didn't mess with perfection. This is incredible. Just delicious beefy stew.
absolutely perfect because we're here in the winter too. Like I'm sure it's good all year round, but like we are eating outside in this chilly, crisp morning, and this is everything. This tomatoey, rich, hearty stew. Wow, just filling you up. That is, that's incredible. I'm very happy right now. This is the award winner. This is the brisket pie. This is really good too. Similar to this, but with like a fancier, more vinegary flavor almost with the wine and the mushrooms. You know, it's similar to this, but it just has this added elevated umami and wine, and it is super good. This is the perfect way to start the morning in Australia. So glad we're taking part in these local traditions.
Australia is a very diverse country, and just like at home in the US, there is so much delicious international food. You can find incredible versions of pretty much any cuisine you're craving here. But one international food that is hugely popular is maccas.
Maccas.
Oh, do you recognize it? You might call it McDonald's where you're from, but here in Australia, you can get burgers with more premium Australian beef that are better than anything we've ever had at McDonald's in America. Speaking of foods that Australia has made their own, fish and chips is a huge deal here. We tried it in Coogee at the end of the Bondi to Coogee beach walk, and it might be the best fish and chips I have ever had. I'm sorry to the entirety of the United Kingdom, but it's time for you to up your game. On the reverse side, I always thought that one of my favorite desserts was European, but turns out it's Australian. Pavlova is a delicious meringue-based dessert topped with cream and tropical fruits that I love so much that my friend spent days making one for my birthday a few years ago. We got one at Bar 83 in the Sydney Tower, and it was good, but this place mostly specializes in views, so if you're looking for a great pavlova, I'm sure there's much better, and if you know a place, drop it in the comments, please. The next dish is not particularly popular in Australia, but it is unique to this country.
We pet and fed them at the Australia Zoo. We saw them in the wild. Now they're feeding us, and I don't know how I feel about it.
No, I am cautiously optimistic.
It's kangaroo skewers. We are at Pony on the Rocks. This is our first time trying kangaroo. We'll see.
So it's a lot better than my worst fears of it were. I was expecting a really tough, really like dense meat. That's not what I got.
It's a lot like steak.
Yeah. I did see at the grocery store, the minced version, the ground version of kangaroo meat is 97% meat, 3% fat. Compare that to like your typical burger, 80-20. That is a very lean meat. And you can taste that. It's healthy. It has that like nice, lean, healthy flavor.
But it tastes honestly almost exactly like a steak.
Yeah, tender in the center, nice wood fire, crisp on the corners there, blackened, while the middle still manages to stay rare.
And I have heard the reason we came here to Pony is I have heard that it is some of the best kangaroo you can get. So I don't know if all of them are going to be this good if you went somewhere else. But this truly, yeah, it's a little sad because they're just so cute and fluffy, but they taste pretty good. It is our last meal in Australia and we are sad to go. But there is one thing on the list that we had not yet tried, the Morton Bay bugs. We came wildly unprepared. Ivan and I are both wearing extremely light colored shirts. Luckily, this restaurant has the hookup. It's bib time, and there's also gloves. So we are now hopefully prepared.
We are at the Boiling Crab, classic Southern boil style restaurant where we got butcher paper on the table here, and they bring out the boiled seafood in this delicious sauce, and they pour it over this butcher paper, which is protecting the table, but also like is your plate. We got the whole shebang sauce, which is all of their sauces put together. You got lemon pepper, you got the Cajun sauce, garlic sauce. I have been dying to try this for so long, ever since I saw it on the Food Network, where they described Morton Bay bug as like a smaller lobster-like crustacean, but with a little extra sweetness, and they just eat them up here in Australia. So I wanted to get in on the action. Marketers would prefer the term bay lobster, but you know the Aussies, they like a good nickname. They cut it in half along the middle, and there's that juicy lobstery flesh in the middle. Until the whole thing is a little smaller. So the nice thing is like you can have a bug all by yourself. It's finally time. Literally years on the list. Look at that, it just comes right out. The great thing with seafood at like a restaurant like this is that they do all the hard work for you. Morton Bay bug, first time Australia. Absolutely delicious. That is so good. Like you just took a lobster and shrank it down as well and kind of condensed all of the like fibers and flavor as well. The mussels are themselves finer. It's literally like a miniature lobster. With the flavor, I think I am getting a little bit more of that sweetness, you know, like fish that grows in a river is oftentimes has like this like nice sweeter undertone than its like ocean counterpart. I think the same exact thing is happening here. These are growing in the bay instead of the ocean. It ends up with a nice sweeter meat, even though it's like doused in this spicy Cajun spice. You're still, once you get into the meat itself, you're getting that little bit of sweetness. I'm so happy to finally have tried Aussie bugs. When you watch something on a Food Network and they're like so good at describing it, B-roll, panning all over the food, it's like, is this gonna live up to the hype? Morton Bay bugs? You did it, mate. You lived up to the hype.
We realized that we haven't booked a place to stay for the next month. So starting tomorrow, we don't know where we're gonna call home. So we decided to, stop at a coffee shop and go ahead and try to book an Airbnb. And this is our view. Not a bad spot to be taking care of logistics.
Oh my gosh.
These birds, man.
Close call.
We have had such an amazing time getting a taste of this beautiful country these past few weeks, and this is the most perfect place to enjoy one final flat white before our flight.
Just got pooped on by a bird in our beautiful coffee shop spot. I thought the birds were part of the charm, but instead they're part of this big problem. Oh no.
The birds supposed to be sad we're leaving, and so are we. And we already can't wait to come back to explore more of this amazing country, so please leave a comment below with any of your favorite foods or places that we can visit next time. Thanks so much for joining us on these adventures down under. It truly helps us so much if you could hit those subscribe and like buttons, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, watch one of these videos. YouTube picked them out just for you.
Goodbye.